What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining us for another edition of Show Me Yo Stack. I am joined with Lica Wilder, or as we like to call her, L Dub, to talk to me about her stack today. What is up, Lica?
Hey, uh, bright and early, daylight savings just happened, so still feeling a little funky on the time, but all good, man. Ready to talk tech.
Ready to talk tech. Before we talk in tech, Lica was telling me she was very angry. I've not sent her a supered hoodie, so perhaps that changes. So, Lica, thank you for joining us. Before we get started, let's do a quick overview of what led you to this conversation, because it's like how you got here, but also what do you do day in and day out? What do you think about?
That's okay. Hold on. So people that have been following Supered and have been following my story kind of know that I had a setback way back when, and then on Inbound already 2 years ago, I was talking about comebacks, and so I had an agency of a bunch of people downsized, and ever since then, I have been building back my agency in a very AI forward way. So what keeps me up at night are the AI processes and trying to define what agencies look like in the near future. And that's what I've been working on and looking to share some of my work today.
I am excited. So what brought Leica, she shares pictures of her AI agents. She has names for them. It's just pretty. When it says AI forward, she is. I think people that there may be a competitive advantage for people that don't have large teams because they can adapt faster in this world. So I think Leica is on the forefront. Wanted to bring her onto the show so she can, because I think I wanted to learn from her, quite frankly, and just have this conversation. So Leica, we're going to go through your top 5 today.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just talk through these. We'll talk about use cases and why. Feel free to add a 6 if you want to. What's your what's your number 5 or maybe 6? What's your number 5 tool?
Well, I'm going to start with 5 and we'll weave in 6 because it does influence but 5 for me is going to be Slack. Remote teams, I need communication. I think it's different if you're in office, but when you're dealing with remote teams that are spread throughout the US and if not the world, in order to communicate, it's got to be Slack. I'm a little bit bummed that HubSpot didn't buy Slack. I would have liked to have had some kind of chat interface in HubSpot, but so be it.
Yeah. There's a few things about Slack, and I'm glad you said that. So Slack is, we standardize on Slack, and you're either today a Team shop, Microsoft, or a Slack shop, and you're either one. It's one of those two. In Slack, especially in an AI first world, I think this async location that's able to consolidate so many conversations into contextual channels is we use OP when you overpowered when you talk about in the gaming language. It becomes a competitive advantage, and so the more context you can get in those channels, it's so much easier than email to keep the context in the threads.
Yeah.
So perhaps that's part of the story you'll be telling on this. What's number 4?
Tmetric. It is my time tracking program. I think in the name Mind and Metrics, I've always had a desire to track. Can't fix, can't measure, can't improve what you're not tracking. One of the reasons why I love super process boards. The more you can track, the better you can make changes. So, and time, I think at the end of the day, we are looking at time as it's one of the most precious things you have in your day. So it needs to be tracked.
Lica, as you're thinking about time, and I think agencies spend a lot of time, sometimes they do it organically through the project management system they're using. So they're doing like Teamworks or something that has time tracking, or using ClickUp for time. You chose to use something outside of one of those systems. And I just want to have how important is time do you think in the future when there's AI agents doing things and it kind of is time as important as it was? So just those two conversations. First off, why outside the organic, some of these other platforms? And number two, how important is time in AI forward?
Yeah. So I chose Tmetric because it integrates with HubSpot.
Mm,
So that was a big one. So and time, I'm as much as I am AI forward, I do honestly believe that the world is still human. We still need to interact with our clients. I do not think that clients will be willing to talk to AI interfaces. Um, yeah, to me that's just, it just doesn't feel right, and I don't think it has that personal emotional intelligence that we still crave. We still crave human connection. And so I still believe that as you build your agencies, humans are in the mix, but their time becomes more valuable because in order to build that relationship, you need to make sure you have enough time. That trust isn't built overnight. That's a time based thing as well. So, tracking time and where it goes and where you are spending your time. Are you spending your time in meetings building relationships or in person building relationships, or are you spending your time doing manual data entry?
mm,
um, so I think time tracking is not just about how much, what did you do, how much time, but like what are the tasks that are consuming your day, because they become a feedback loop as to what you could potentially use AI to switch out of.
So I like this, and I see you make this changes. Traditionally, time tracking is used so to bill, but you did not necessarily say that. You said I'm using it internally to ensure I have a human first experience for customers, not
Yeah.
necessarily how I bill my value. Which sometimes those two things are interrelated. And you just made the argument that time's even more important, even though I'm not necessarily billing by hour. So I think that's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, well, maybe we'll have some more time to talk about this in a second. But we get to this, again, this AI first, this AI forward agency where time's actually just as or potentially more important than it used to be. What's tool number
Yeah.
3 in the stack?
So tool number three is what triggered this conversation, which is currently OpenClaw.
OpenClaw. Okay,
Yeah.
so in the OpenClaw world, which I'm not in yet, I don't have a computer. Do you have multiple computers? Do you have one? Talk to
No.
me. How are you using it?
So it I started, so there's a lot of debate on OpenClaw. I was just to kind of understand how OpenClaw kind of came into my tool stack. I was building out AI agents in N8N, and then somebody was like, check out OpenClaw. A lot of the structure of what I was building out in N8N existed in OpenClaw, and so I tried it. I fired up a virtual, like a virtual server at first, loaded it up there, and it was just so fast to work with, so incredibly fast. So I was able to kind of spin up these agents that I had been building in N8N into OpenClaw almost immediately. And I did that on a virtual server. And I'm still, um, after that, there's this argument of like, you should go local. It's cheaper, it's easier. But from a agency perspective, local, the idea is great, but I've had my systems break too many times, and this is one of the benefits of being small, because if it breaks, the chaos is on me. If you're building this in a large enterprise and it breaks, the chaos is on everybody, and it's just a nightmare. Like that's when people leave your company. But because it's just me, I'm able to break things and still be okay. And so because I've experienced the pain of things breaking, I do not want to build an infrastructure that's completely local, because if my internet goes down, which it sometimes does, it's like all your
Mhm.
employees calling in sick,
Yeah.
which is rough. So then what are your options? Okay, have different Mac minis all over the US with different, which is also like uh, a really rough way to handle it. So I ended up building a bit, it's hybrid. So I have a skeleton crew that's on a virtual server, and then I have stuff on Mac minis. I have one Mac mini. I don't have multiple.
So
Um,
what's one? Just we can go to one because I bet there's a lot of people who have lots of questions about OpenClaw. What's one use case that you're using to provide value for a client? Or let's do one for a client, one internal, and why OpenClaw is number three in front of Slack and time.
Yeah. Um, well, I'll start off with internal, and that is the ability to have conversations with my HubSpot admin agent. The amount of cleaning that I have done, like database cleaning with this agent, is just a
When you
killer.
use the word database cleaning, what do you mean? So, like for example, I use Claude a lot, and I did a full I like rebuilt all my lists and it rebuilt my folder systems and it made everything right. I'm assuming you're doing a lot more with an open claw
Yeah.
free system. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I should have put Ask Elephant on my list. Shout out to Ask Elephant number 7. uh, but yeah, because I was using Ask Elephant for all this unstructured data, it has to be associated to the right bits in order for it to you then be able to run AI on it. And so the way that I was set up in Ask Elephant is that it was like putting it to the meeting, but the meetings are sometimes to a deal. The meetings are sometimes to projects we run. Sometimes they're to vendors that we are with, and setting up those associations is was for us just a manual click. But now I can go in, I can say, hey, what meetings are not associated to XYZ, and it will go and associate. So we use Tmetric. Tmetric puts all our times back into HubSpot. And then because I'm not on enterprise, I'm on pro, I'm reusing some of the object library
Oh,
objects that are there.
yes.
So yeah, so they don't come with some of these natural associations, and I literally tell it to go associate based on reasoning.
So you have a an open claw internal. Let's name what's this one's name? I'm sure you have a
The
name.
My HubSpot admin,
Yeah.
Paul.
Okay, so Paul goes in, and when a meeting occurs, it's going to Ask Elephant. I'm assuming, or it's going
No,
to
well, there are
like this.
many things.
Okay.
There are many things that are happening. So in oh, there's so much to talk about here, and I could talk about
Well,
it for
let,
hours, but
let's keep this one because I think this is a very useful one. Hey, I want to be able to associate all my meetings to know if I have like to
yeah.
comment, like be able to track time. So like, what's
So
happening there?
So Ask Elephant does some of this automatically because I've got
Mm-hmm.
it web hooked in, and then but they're fringe use cases, right? Like that deal that's actually in a sales process, but is with a recurring customer.
Yeah, it has a deal that we're trying to do a new project, expand the scope.
Ex-
However, we're running an active project, and it's actually a project. Where do you associate things? Yes.
exactly, and so it will decide and has not failed yet on how to associate because some of the more like basic automations are, it's like, well, if life cycle stage is customer, then associated to, right, and you're giving it these, these kind of basic like logical things based on these switches that exist in HubSpot. Whereas if you run an agent, it's able to decide based on the entire context to figure out where it needs to go to.
Okay.
So
So
um
this is one Paul, and Paul intuitively puts the meetings in the correct location, makes the correct
yeah.
associations, which is really helpful for current clients. I mean, there's a really good use case. That's a common issue. What's number two? We're still an open call. What's something
Yeah,
external? Just one use case that's brought value.
external.
Yeah.
So executive assistants, um, being able to look at your Google Workspace, and right now where it's more Google Workspace, I haven't set this up for Teams. It's just Google has a much better API, MCP, so Google's just able to just do more. And having for business owners, having a executive assistant that will triage emails, um, that will I do not believe in emailing or having agents email directly, so I always have them create a draft So at the end of the day, the owner can come in their Gmail, and there'll be a series of drafts that they have to go through, QA, and then send. Um,
I like
yeah.
that you're saying that. I've created my own email triage agent, and it's total crap. So hopefully yours is better than the one I built. It like keeps
But
starting
that's,
wrong stuff. Yeah, you gotta put a lot of work to get these things right. Uh,
yeah. And not only that, it has the context of HubSpot, which makes a difference as well. So,
mm,
um, being able to, and email triage is definitely one of the hardest things that I've had the AI agents have had to do.
yeah,
Um,
especially I get so many prospecting emails, and it's really bad for me so far of understanding it's a prospect email. So it is what it
yeah,
is. Let's go to so we got OpenClaw number 3. I mean, this is like there's robust. It potentially could be number 1, maybe. Who knows?
eventually, yeah.
What's your number 2?
Google Workspace. They really should call it Google Workhorse
Ooh.
because it does everything for me.
So
It
do you
stores all my
you
documentation,
say
all of it.
everything? Yeah, let's go. So it's documentation. Are you using it for meetings? Just like are you using all the full robustness of it?
Uh, I still use Zoom, but I could easily use Google Meet. It's easy to, so if I bring a contractor on, it's easy to have them get emails, calendars, share drive folders, documentation. Um, it's Google Chat, um, and then Google Meet for them as well, instead of having me to buy more Zoom licenses. So they're on Google Meet. And yeah, my entire, it integrates with HubSpot real easily as well. And then um, the Google Drive connector for Breeze is really powerful also. So there's there's that. I know that OneDrive does it for Microsoft Teams, but for me, Google has just been so much easier to
I've
connect.
I've never met a person. Maybe I will, but I've never met a person that said, "Oh gosh, I'm so glad I moved off Google onto Microsoft." I've only heard the other thing, the other way.
Yeah.
Microsoft is a bit more enterprisey, a bit more secure. At least people say that. Uh, so we'll find out. So what's tool number 1? Like the most important software
Yeah.
stack.
So for me, it's HubSpot. And that's partly because I've been moving everything back into HubSpot.
What does that mean?
So,
Moving everything
so
back into HubSpot. So was it once not in
Hubs,
HubSpot?
yeah. So we had like a tool sprawl.
Mm-hmm.
And out of necessity, just because the business wasn't working so well, I decided to move everything in HubSpot. It's an expensive piece of software. Let's call a spade a spade. And so in order to really warrant that monthly spend, I wanted to make sure that we were using it to its fullest capacity. And that, so we use the projects object, we use invoicing, subscription, um, Data Hub, Data Studio. Um, we use the whole suite, and then I've repurposed these objects. So I use the object library to give me kind of faux custom objects, renamed them.
Don't we all? This is good.
Yeah. And I repurposed one of the custom objects to list all my AI executions so I can track exactly what's fired, when's fired, how much is my spend, how much tokens are my agents consuming, how much do my agents cost in token spend, what tasks are they running, um, and yeah, and that's actually kind of going back to my 6, which is supered. And I think
I'll take
this
it.
is something, yeah, this is something that we've talked about at Inbound, which is business process. And so in order to have all of these things work together well, it boils down to process. Even the agents, they need to have processes that they follow. And I track that, like, super process boards track the human side. And I use just tech to kind of build the AI side of that. So yeah, I use a HubSpot object for that. I have an object just for the agents themselves. I named my agents because it's much easier to remember if Paul messes up than agent BYX24. So it immediately, I know exactly like what's wrong, like where do I need to go troubleshoot.
Why did you make that association? Bad boy. I like this.
Right, exactly. Blair, why did you create, this client folder in my personal drive? So it's just easier to troubleshoot. And then part of the challenge of running AI agents is the aspect of memory. And so there's two types of memories for these AI agents. One is memory that builds expertise, the self-learning aspect. So you need to write back to something in order for the agents to learn. So we use HubSpot for that as well. So the agents can pull their own learnings back from HubSpot. And then just this dynamic data that lives in your system, which is HubSpot. What your clients are doing, what deals you're working on, what are the interactions that have happened with humans, what are the emails that are coming in, what are the emails that are being sent out. All of that lives in HubSpot, and you can hook your AI agents into that. So yeah.
So Leica, thank you. I'm gonna go over this top 5 that I just. We'll go through 6. Six is super. Tool number 5 is Slack. Tool number 4 is Time Tracker. Tool number 3, OpenClaw. Tool number 2 is
Google Workspace.
Google Workspace. Whew, it's a big one. And then tool number 1 is HubSpot.
Yeah.
Well, Leica, I appreciate you sharing the time. I thought it was really cool to hear from an AI forward agency. If people want to continue this conversation with you, where can they find you?
On LinkedIn, LICAWOUTERS, my handle. Catch me on the super Slack channel as well. Yeah, and LinkedIn mostly.
Well, Leica or L Dub, appreciate you coming on, sharing your expertise with everybody. Thank you.
No problem.
Everybody, stay awesome, keep doing it big, and never, ever, ever stop believing. Adios.